What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing a topic or discussing a question that I was asked on my last video about the trucking industry and whether or not it's a good time to get into the trucking industry. Now, the person that made the comment, I do believe, or I'm going to assume, has never seen any of my videos. So I'm going to touch on what he asked me and kind of give my perspective on this topic. But first, before I get into the topic of the video, I would appreciate it if you would like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out some more of my other videos that will be recommended at the end of this one. And if you're somebody that's already a follower of mine, I appreciate you for being here, and I would appreciate you for hitting the like button, because it does help out with the YouTube algorithm and promoting my channel. So yeah, but right now, currently, I'm just going to give you kind of an update. I dropped off Mike yesterday, and he is going to be taking his final road test with the terminal manager at Burleson, Texas, with Millis Transfer. And he will be getting into his own truck. So Mike's training is completed, and right now I am running for a couple days Texas Regional, because my home time is scheduled for Thursday. So I will probably be filming a couple videos while I'm out here doing some Texas Regional, and this is one of the videos I'm doing. So I wanted to make this video because a guy asked me, and I'm going to get right into the topic. A guy asked me, is it a good time to get into the trucking industry? He said something like this, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, I hear that the trucking industry sucks right now due to high oil or high fuel prices and low freight rates. And is it a good time, in your opinion, to get into the trucking industry right now? That is what he asked me. Now, obviously, he doesn't watch my videos, and so I'm going to answer the question and just kind of touch on this topic, because I really feel it's important to understand that there is no one lane in trucking. And if you're asking me about whether you should get into trucking, this is assuming you're not in trucking and you're looking at it as a new career path. The high fuel prices and the freight rates dropping have literally nothing to do with you. Like for most people getting into the industry, they're not going to have much to do with your situation. And ultimately, I do believe long term, over the next 2, 3, 4 years, fuel prices are going to drop, and I do believe rates are going to go back up. I do believe it. The trucking industry goes through cycles, and that's just the way it is. It's based on supply and demand. Now, the fuel prices are based on bad policies, bad political policies, and that could change in a couple years. Those policies could be reversed, and who knows whether or not that's going to happen, but they could be. So, but as far as freight rates go, that is supply and demand. Now, that being said, the freight rates are on the spot market that they're talking about. These are spot market freight rates. If you're going and running for a company starting out, you're going to be a company driver. Let's just be honest. 99% of people getting into the trucking industry are going to be company drivers starting out. They're going to either go to a private school and then go get hired on to a starter company, or they're going to go to a starter company who has a school connected to the company, within the company, right? And that's usually how people start out. And that process takes 2, 3, 4 months, going through the school, going through the training with a trainer, and then getting into your own truck. And then for the most part, you're going to need to get about a year to 2 years of experience to be able to go get a higher paying job outside of that starter company that you started with, right? Well, if you are going to be a company driver starting out, which is like I said, 99% of new people entering the industry are not going to come in and become an owner-operator right away. If you're not going to be an owner-operator for the next 2 to 3 years, then freight rates and fuel prices have nothing to do with you. Why? Because as a company driver, you don't have to worry about fuel prices. The company is paying the fuel price. They're paying that. They're paying all the expenses on the truck. All you do is drive safe and run hard, and you make your money, and you're on a W-2, right? You're a W-2 employee. So you don't have to worry about any of the things that are going on right now. And for the most part, people start out with bigger companies, usually mid-size to mega carriers. That's usually where people start out in the trucking industry. They go to a company with a school, and they start out with that company, and they do like 6 months to a year, and then they move on to a better company, right? Well, if that's the case, in a year from now, it doesn't matter. Like, say you're starting today. Well, where fuel prices are right now don't really apply to your situation, okay? You should be worried about learning how to do the job, not stuff that doesn't even apply to you. Really, it doesn't, okay? And so as far as your trucking career goes, yes, it does apply to your day-to-day living, you know, paying for gas and things like that to put in your car. It does apply to the economy overall. Yes, things are more expensive right now. That's true. But as far as getting into the actual field of trucking, becoming a truck driver, these things don't apply to most truck drivers. Most truck drivers are not owner-operators. Most truck drivers are company drivers. And the question was, is it a good time to get into trucking, assuming you're not in it already? Okay? Well, my answer is absolutely. If this is a career path that you want to get on long term, if you're looking at trucking as a quick fix, get rich quick scheme, this is not the right career for you. But if you're somebody that's looking at this business as, hey man, I can get into a career that'll possibly pay me 60 grand my first year, right out of school, and then after I get about a year to 2 years of experience, I could potentially, without owning equipment, make 6 figures. And if you're smart and you come into this business and you get to the money, you start earning the big money, even as a company driver, you start using that money to pay off all your debts, become debt-free. I talk about it all the time. You can build up a huge cash reserve, aka an emergency fund, also what I talk about all the time, and then start learning how to invest your money. And if you're somebody that wants to eventually become an owner-operator, well, hey, if you come into trucking, run as a company driver for a few years, get out of debt, stack your money, you could stack enough money to eventually pay cash or put money down on your first truck. And guess what? With the Federal Reserve raising interest rates, which they're going to continue to do that for the next year, they're going to continue to do that, what's going to happen to all these overly inflated used truck prices and new truck prices? Really, all vehicles, cars, commercial vehicles, all of those things are going to go down in price because all of those things are overly inflated, and they're going to go down because with the Fed raising interest rates on top of the prices are just astronomical. Okay, the same truck a year ago with 300,000 miles on it is double. It's selling for double what it was just a year ago. That isn't normal. So if you're somebody looking at becoming an owner-operator right now, and this is just my opinion, if you're looking at becoming an owner-operator right now, and you have a good-paying company job, say you're making like 80 to 120 a year as a company driver with no expenses, and you're thinking, hey, I want to become an owner-operator, I would not do it right now. I have not done it, and I haven't done it because I know that the used truck market is overly inflated. I would not do it. So is it a good time to become a owner-operator right now? No, it isn't. Because eventually the market for used trucks is going to normalize. It's going to go down. Those trucks that are overly inflated are going to drop in price. And when that happens, it's going to be a great time to go out and buy a truck, buy a used truck. Okay, it is. And in the meantime, especially, and it's no better time like the present to get into trucking, because if you're just starting out, okay, it's going to take a while for those truck prices to drop. It is. The effects of the Fed raising interest rates are going to take effect and really have an effect on the overall economy. It's going to take some time, okay? It always does. And if you're somebody just now getting into trucking, okay, the first thing you got to do is learn how to do the job. That's number one. You shouldn't even really be worried about making the big bucks yet in your first year. You should be learning how to do the job efficiently. You should be learning about the industry as a whole, educating yourself about the business and the industry that you're in, and getting out of debt, personal debt, get out of all personal debt, stack up a huge lump sum of money for an emergency fund, and then beyond like a 6-month emergency fund, start saving up if you want to become an owner-operator. Start saving up to buy your first truck and start your business. And by then, by the time you get out of debt, you get your experience, you have an emergency fund, and then you have savings beyond that to go out and put down or pay cash for your own truck. Guess what? The prices of used trucks are going to fall over the next 2 to 3 years. But in the meantime, you're earning great money with zero risk. It's one of the best businesses to get into, I believe. Trucking is one of the greatest businesses to get into. And why is that? Because no matter what, if we go into a deep recession, if we go into a depression, guess what? Clothes still have to get delivered. Food still has to get delivered. People are still going to consume products. And every product in the country, okay, every single product in the country gets moved via truck. Every single one. And that's going to continue no matter if we go into a recession or not. It doesn't matter. Okay? And that's just the truth. And so, and right now, the demand for truck drivers is at an all-time high. We've never been at a point in history where the demand for truck drivers, new truck drivers, to come into the industry, we've never been at a point any time in history to where the demand has been this high. Okay? And you can make great money. Okay? So yes, to answer his question, it is an amazing time to get into the trucking industry. And that's to get in. And if you're already in, and like I said, this is my opinion, you do not have to agree with me. I think it's a bad time to become an owner-operator if you already have a good-paying company job and you like your company and you're able to save money and invest money outside of trucking and you've got zero debt. Why go out and pay double for a truck that's not worth that much? You're going to lose that money. You're never going to recoup that money. Okay, a truck that was selling for $60,000 last year is now selling for $130,000. The same truck with the same amount of miles on it. Same truck. That is not normal. And let's say in 2 years, because the Fed is pushing up interest rates, that truck or the truck prices start to normalize, and that $130,000 truck now drops back down to 70, and you went out and bought a truck for 130 that's really worth 70, right? Well, guess what? You just lost a ton of money because you bought that truck when the prices were overly inflated. I don't think that's a good investment. You're better off, let's say you had $130,000. You're better off taking that money and investing it into the stock market right now. You're better off investing it into a property, okay? Something that, you know, holds its value, okay? Because used trucks do not hold their value, not in a normal market. Trucks are a depreciating asset. Cars are a depreciating asset, okay? And all of these trucks that are overly inflated in price are going to fall. All the prices are going to fall. It's going to happen, okay? Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And so the point I'm making is basically, no, do not become an owner-operator right now. That is my opinion. I would not put my money into a used truck right now with the prices where they're at. Unless you can get a deal on a truck, you know somebody that's selling you a truck for a fair price, and maybe you found like an individual who has a truck and they're willing to give you a good deal on it. But for the most part, if you're looking at a dealership or whatever, the prices are overly inflated for these trucks. So that's the way I see it. So if you're looking at getting into this industry, becoming a company driver, getting out of debt, stacking your money, investing your money, you know, it's an amazing time. If you're already an owner operator and you bought your truck before the market went crazy, well, guess what? You're in a good position. And yeah, fuel prices are extremely high right now, but I do believe, this is my opinion, I do believe fuel prices are going to drop. Okay, I do believe that. When are they going to drop? I don't know. I think we've got some more pain to endure with that, but I think eventually, here in the next few years, these prices are going to drop. Okay, I really do believe that. So I could be wrong on everything I'm saying. Like I said, this is my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. Okay, it's my right to free speech. So, and it's your right to disagree. So yeah, to answer your question, sir, yes, getting into the trucking industry, it's an amazing time to do so, especially if you're just getting in, starting with a good company, and just focused on getting your experience, making your money, using that money to get out of debt, and learning about the business as you work for a company. You know, learn on somebody else's dime. Learn about this business on somebody else's dime. You can literally buy books about the trucking industry. You can watch YouTube videos about the trucking industry. Okay? You can learn everything you need to learn while you're driving for a company that's paying all the bills. I think that's very smart before you go out on your own and start a business. Okay? You should probably know about the industry that you're in before you do that. And you should probably go into that business with a lot of capital. And how can you raise a lot of capital by becoming a truck driver? Well, guess what? You're going to be making $60,000+ a year for your first year in trucking. You can do that. It's very doable to make 60 plus, especially if you're like young. Say you're like 21 years old and you're getting into the trucking industry and you're single, don't have any kids. Guess what? You could literally go to a trucking company, get your license, get in your own truck, and live on the road for like 5 years and just get out of debt, stack your money, and you will have a ton of money in 5 years. If you just sacrifice, you'll have enough money to pay cash for a truck and trailer and get your own authority. You can do all of that, or invest in other businesses, invest in real estate, invest in stocks, pay cash for your first house, whatever. There's so many different avenues. There's so many different things and options that this industry can provide you. I've literally gone from being broke to worth a few $100,000 in like 3.5 years by getting into the trucking industry. This is an amazing business. I love it. I'm not leaving, and I'm going to continue making videos about how much I love this business, and it's going to continue to do well over time. I truly believe that, but it's only going to do well for people that have the right mindset and really want to do something with this business. Okay? So, long story short, yes, great business to get into, and I wouldn't worry about the economic problems that we're having right now. Yes, in the short term it's going to suck, but in the long term things are going to work themselves out. It's just going to happen. We're going through a bad cycle right now, but it is going to end. Things are going to get better, and do not let what's happening in the economy stop you from changing your life. That's my message for the day, and I will be coming back at you with another video. here in a couple more days. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I appreciate you for watching this entire video. If you stayed tuned till the end, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out my Instagram. I will follow you back if you go follow me. And thank you for watching. God bless. Peace out.